have. Thank you so much, Andre. You did it. Woohoo!
I did it.
Was Paul speak, and then I was going to try to help you in the half an hour while Paul was speaking so we could get you on. Oh, Kitty, I just had my dog up here. Who else here is a dog owner?
Oh,
There you go. What kind of dog do you have, Andre?
it's a little Yorkie rescue.
I have a schnauzer. I have a mini schnauzer. So, Paul, thank you so much for trying to help, but you'll be right on after Andre. Thank you so much. I was going to have Paul speak in case you couldn't get in on time.
No, it's weird. I had the wrong link. I literally had the wrong link. It was like from something else on your on your
No
schedule. It's I don't understand. Whatever.
technology. I can't make sense of it. I'm having issues with my Facebook the whole time I'm trying to sort this out. But anyway, so Andre comes to us from a wonderful warm place,
Uh
California, whereas I'm freezing up here in Canada. And he is also a relationship coach. So it was inevitable that I would have him and Jim on here today. Not that, everyone has their own love power, the power of love. So Andre is going to also tell us all about love from his point of view. So thank you so much, Andre. Please take it away.
Happy to be here. So notice the colors. How Valentine's Day. Notice it looks orange, but it's supposed to be red. It's actually really red. So I'm not sure. So where do you want to start? I mean, we're talking love has got so many layers, right? I mean, well, this Valentine's Day is, romantic love is in the air. It's happening all day today, obviously. Interesting enough, most men really don't like Valentine's Day because most men love to be spontaneous, right? Surprise you ladies, right? That's I do. And the fact that there's a day schedule that you're supposed to be romantic and, like most men would kind of resent it a little bit. Like I'm gonna do this on my time when I decide to surprise her, not because, it's on the schedule. You know what I mean? So I typically with my wife, we always do it off schedule on purpose. Like we just off schedule. Like sometimes this week I'll surprise her with some stuff. So that's my approach to it. What's on your side?
I love it. I love it. He's not a big Valentine's Day. Plus, my birthday was yesterday. So it's
Boy.
what was ever with me. It's like, how do you do the birthday and then do yourself again the next day? And one time, when I was married, my husband sent me to work. Uh, 12, like a dozen long stem roses. And I said, oh, my sweet Jesus, like half of our mortgage. I go, please don't do this again. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's do some other smaller version of flowers or some other day. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a lot of pressure for men. And we were just talking about this today about how a lot of people are talking about how Valentine's Day and love is all about self-love first, right? So I will let
Ev
I'll speak.
yeah. Everything's about self-love first, and you can't really, 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 truly be in love and be with somebody and love somebody until you're have it for yourself. Like all the stuff that comes in the challenges of relationships, boundary settings, negotiation, um, problem solving, all these things. If you're not clean, if you're triggered, if you have your baggage, leading all of this, you're completely stuck. And so the story is always about you. You start with you. You have to clean yourself up. You have to do your inner work, understand your triggers. I understand my triggers very well. And interestingly enough, that people like to they think they we instinctively, I think, hide our flaws to the other people, trying to make sure that they like us, that we're pleasing, that right? So we hide our triggers, we hide our injuries, but they're right there, and eventually they come right back and hit you in the face, and hit worse than that, it hits them in the face. So, like these, I always say, instead of trying to hide your triggers and putting a best front and best face, especially for the first 3 months of a relationship, right? Nobody misbehave, everybody's easygoing, things are smooth. Oh, I don't care about this, right? It's just so easy. And then reality kicks in, by the end of the third month. Interesting relationship buildings have a sequence that's very predictable. We like to think as human that we're all like individuals, and we are, but there's such a rhythm to everything in life, just like in nature, we have days and weeks and months and years and decades. There's a rhythm to building a relationship. So after 3 months, we call it the perfect phase. This is when the imperfect phase kicks in. And then people drop the mask a lot, and I had some, I had some in the understanding this phase. I warn my clients, like, okay, so you've been with him 3 months, you've been with her 3 months, okay, you're about to step into imperfect phase. What does that mean? I go, you'll see. And and I collect these stories, of course, because it's kind of backs up what I'm teaching. But I had one lady said to me, she's like, well, 4 months in, she goes, well, so he started burping the alphabet, and he thinks it's really funny. That's new. I'm like, this is who he is, right? He's revealing who he is. Like, so I have a bunch of story. Like, one guy was really upset because his girlfriend, after 3+ months, started going to the bathroom and leaving the door open. Like, he goes, dude, you don't understand. Like, the door is open. So that was new. So that whole idea of putting off a front, it's instinctual. I get it. We want to be pleasing and pleasant. We want people to like us, because we like them. But the masks are terrible, and again, it's misleading. It's not even honest, honestly. But again, we do it as a reflex. But revealing your flaws, I always say, revealing your triggers, because it's more than flaws, it's triggers. The flaws will come out just in the mix. But your triggers are the things that are deep, deep inside. And, when somebody flicks that nerve, right? Like for me, like I say, reveal your triggers as soon as possible. So then when they flick it, then they go, oh, did I just do that thing? Like that, because you understand when we're triggered, who we are kind of disappears. Like the person that we front, like we front forward, kind of flips into this dark version of us. Do you know what I mean? And then the other person is like, who are you? Like, who are you? What just happened? Like, was the easygoing guy that been dating for a few months? Like that, all of a sudden it's like this dark, like angry. Well, you just flick that nerve. So I always say reveal your triggers up front, so people, it's more like I said, when they flick that nerve, they have a chance of going, okay, I think I know what's happening, right? And then have a conversation around it. Yeah, my mom used to do this to me. That's mine, right? My mom used to do this to me. Like, don't do this. Like, it just boom, that's me on fire. So, yeah, our instinct often gets in the way of building things properly and appropriately, and really being clear and honest, even with what we're going through, in the name of being easygoing. It doesn't work. I always, don't try to pretend everything's great. That's because eventually you're gonna snap, or they're gonna snap. So that's what I got. How you like that?
It's so true. What's the biggest problem? Because you do, like, you strictly focus on relationship. What seems
Hmm.
to be the biggest, because I'm telling you, after 3 months, the
Yeah.
door on the bathroom, like that freaks me out. Like I'm not that,
I know it's so weird.
not that comfortable with myself, because especially as we get older, and let's not get into detail, but you know what I
Mhm.
it can't be that fun, that much fun. But yeah, like the anger, the this, the that, it's like, oh my gosh. And you're so right, like that first 3 months, it's like you're in heaven. And it's important to show who you are. I do think we could do the door thing a little later on if we need to do that. Like what do you just rather have the door closed, period? Like, what do we need to open it
It's
for?
just people get sloppy a little bit, or they forget, or they don't care, or all of a sudden, like, that's how they used to do it when they were kids. So like all of that comes back up, is what I'm saying. Like people's lifestyles are just kind of built in, and they don't realize whether it's normal or weird, just because that's how. I had a friend come over my house years ago. I was living in an apartment by myself, and he was in between places, and he's like, can I, spend a few nights at your place, and my place is ready. I'm like, yeah, sure, sleep on my couch. So the first thing he does when he walks in my house, he strips completely naked and sits on my couch watching TV. And I remember thinking, okay, that's a lot. right? He's got his butt literally where I put my head sometimes to take a nap. Like he's got his bare butt on my couch. But that way, but like I remember I watched him. There was no thinking. This is how when he's home, he's naked. But he never bothered telling me this. It's, dude, that's a lot. That's just a lot. You want to put a underwear on? Like, but and again, I'm so easygoing. I kind of go with everything. Like nothing really triggers me with people. I just like to let people be themselves. It's just sometimes I remember this is what I start realizing. Like what I think is normal and what other people think is normal. There's a lot of flex and variety in that. Like as in the door open and or walk in somebody's house and butt naked on their couch. That's interesting.
Not a lot. That's too much.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
I need to be walking around too naked. I mean, you know what? If you're with like your best girlfriend that you've had for, you've been friends for a long time and you're sharing a hotel room because you've gone away and, because it's one room and you
Mm.
forgot to get your, I don't know, your pants or something or your underwear even. And you've already showered and now you're walking around with this towel or something and you're partially naked. I think that's kind of okay, but I don't know about naked. Like, do
That
we?
would be the more normal. I get it, but that's just there was no agenda that he wasn't trying anything. He was just like literally just poop everything on the floor.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Okay then.
Yeah,
All right.
we all have different levels of comfort, which is so funny. I remember one time
But
when,
I can tell that's how he lived. That's basically whichever way, whether it's like this at his house, that's just that was the normal, right? Like so there was no even need for conversation. It was hysterical.
walking around naked at home is okay if if there's no kids and stuff walking around. So,
Well, I just let me just say I just saw much more than I ever wanted to see. And you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
from every angle. I mean, come on. Jeez. I'm just saying. Like
that's that. Just like I'm seeing it in my face.
can you
Why? Why?
uh,
Why do you
I, oh, it's interesting. But realm of love and relationship is such a diverse and this, the reason why I love the love dynamic the most out of, because relationships, we have relationships with our families and our parents, we have relationship with our employees and our friends, we have employees with our bosses, we have a relationship with people in our world, family and friends. I love the love dynamic the most because it's got the most calibration. You take things a lot more personal. You know, it brings you much more happiness on some level, and at the same time, it could bring you the worst anxiety and the worst pain being triggered, right, by the things that we don't talk about. So that's my favorite because it's so not, what's the word? It's not complicated. It's just we tend to be reactive to things and react to things, which is animalistic in my world, right? You know what I mean? Like a knee-jerk reaction to feeling triggered, feeling hurt, feeling, whatever, as opposed to kind of be able to communicate and stay calm, right? And so I say instead of reacting, because typically like the behavior triangle is something happens, we'll react, and then we think, darn, I can't believe I said that. Oh, right. Like something happens, you react ridiculously, instinctively, like irrationally, right? Or emotionally. And then you think, oh my God, I shouldn't have pressed that send button on that email. That was terrible, right? So, but the people who kind of have an easier time in every relationship, something happened, they think, and then they react, right? This is a rational way to approach things. So, again, in the love dynamic, we're reactive. We're reactive. I can't believe you said that. I can't believe she did that. I don't know what the hell she's talking about, right? I see it all the time. And you go, we can react all you want. That's not going to help. Just take a moment. What needs to be said? We take a moment. I always say the best approach is always to turn the finger on you. If you want successful communications, you turn the finger on you. What I mean by that is, you can say, I can't believe you did this. I'm sick of that. Ever, don't do that to me again. If you point the finger at somebody, right, guess what happens? It's an attack. And they naturally have to resist and defend themselves. It's an attack. So instead of doing this, you do this. When this happens, I felt like this. It made me feel like this. This is what happened to me. I didn't like it. Why'd you do this? Or if you can explain to me what you were thinking. Huh. So and all of a sudden the other person has no reason to be defensive. You're not attacking them. You're not pointing the finger at them. You're pointing the finger. This is what happened to me. When this happens, this is what happened to me. I didn't like it. Made me feel blah, whatever. Can you help me understand? Right? Or is that what you meant to make me feel? And that's a whole different thing because the person receiving this if has a chance to feel a little bit of guilt if they realize they did something wrong. But again, the guilt is only possible if they're not being attacked. They're not pushing back, right? So we point the finger at you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So you get an explanation typically, especially if you're with men. Ladies, like 97% of things that you take personally with men, it's not for you to take personally. I'm just gonna say factual. So ask the question. Ask the question, like, why'd you do this? Because it made me feel whatever, right? It's fill in the blank. And you'll get an explanation that you can't even conceive because we have different brains and different motivations and different reasons to do things. So you usually get an explanation that you can you would not be able to find on your own. You assume the worst. It's just normal. And or you get an apology. And all of a sudden it's cleaned up. Right. So this is what really people who are successful, that I call it, they have each other's back that way. They're not trying to get on top. They're not trying to blame. They're not trying to prove something. And they're sure as heck not trying to fix each other because we tend to do this, right? We attract a person that reminds us of our parent. If you're a man, it's a woman. If you're a woman, it's a man. You find somebody just like your dad who was cold and distant and disconnected and didn't really care, seemingly. And so you find the same guy and then you're going to try to fix him. That's what we do instinctively. This is what, like, this is the way our minds are wired as humans. We believe something and we go out to prove it. So if you believe you're not lovable, ladies, if you believe you're not good enough, gentlemen, and a version of all of that in between, we literally go out in the world and can prove it. See, they're all the same. See, they're all crazy. See, they don't care. See, they don't care. See, they don't care. Like, it's a pattern, right? It's a ridiculous design of our brain. We just need to be right. And even if we're wrong, we're going to be right about being wrong, especially in love dynamics, right? So when I get to heaven, I'm going to say, like, I want to have a conversation with God, going, like, really, what kind of design is that? That's the kind of whack. You know, animals don't live in trauma the rest of their lives because their families and parents, right? They they move on. Animals can get like, you know, you can have a zebra getting attacked by a tiger, and he gets away from the tiger, and what happens? He's not traumatized the rest of his life. He shakes it off. Have you noticed animals? They shake when they're stressed out. If you overwhelm your cat, what do they do? They step back and they shake, and they're cool. They literally shake the stress off of them. Animals do this. We don't. We get stuck in it for the rest of our lives. Why? Why? What kind of design is that? Like that's a little bit cruel. I'm just saying.
I hate every man in the world because my father was an alcoholic or something like that.
See? I mean, it's a version of that.
Even Because I got a lot of friends that are awesome, awesome beyond awesome. I really want to ask you this.
Yes.
Ladies, please listen up because
Oh,
I already know what the answer is going to be because I coach men and I coach women as well.
yeah.
Ladies, please listen up. What is the most attractive thing to a man on a female? What is the number one thing that you hear that is the most attractive?
Men want, you know, grace, ease, peace, right? Agreeable, cooperative, right? They like easygoing. They like the warmth of a feminine woman. They like the magnet that it becomes that it pull when a woman is in a feminine, it pulls us forward, right? It just brings us forward. We want to protect that energy, right? It's so precious. You have to understand that femininity breathes life into us. Look at the sunshine is blowing in my face. Hey, Scott saying good morning. Look how much sunshine in here. I'm literally blind. Um, thank you, babe. See, my angel is gonna come to my rescue and tone it da da. Thank you, babe. Um, what was I saying? Blank. That derailed me completely.
Grace and
Yes, yes, grace, but the feminine energy is a magnet, ladies. You have to understand, it's a magnet, and it amplifies my masculinity. If I'm in the presence any one of us, right? When you experience a man as a gentleman, ladies, it's because you're in such a feminine energy that he's compelled to be kind, be aware, be make sure that you're okay, you're comfortable, you're good, you're happy, you're not hot, you're not cold, right? Like so your femininity brings men forward, all men, by the way, all men, all of us, not only the people you're in love with, like the men you work with, your fathers, your brothers, like men come into that space because it literally lifts our spirit and we want to protect it. When you're the other way around, if you're stuck in your head and you're more masculine, you push us back. Like you just energetically, when you're not good, I don't want to be around you. Now there's a lot of pressure if you think about it like as it is, but it's not. It's really a matter of calibrating and be aware of your energy. If I'm sitting here, my wife walks in the house, or if I walk in the house and my wife's in the house, I don't have to see her to know what kind of state of mind she's in. I can feel it. Do you know what I mean? So, and if she's not okay, if she's upset for whatever reason, I'm not buzzing around very much. Like I'll keep my distance a little bit, right? I'll go to the garage because I don't know what's going on, but it's not it's a pushing me away energy as opposed to pulling me in energy. I'm not sure if it's me because sometimes it's me, sometimes it's not. It could be traffic, it could be the kids, right? Like, whatever. There's a pile. I'm not going to necessarily take that personally, but I'm not leaning into, right? Because if I say what's wrong, right? I could have it could be an avalanche towards me. Now I just came home from work. I don't want to hear it. Like I'm tired. This is not gonna be really good, right? So I say to ladies, like, how do you cultivate your femininity? You know, self-care, self-love, right? Really get yourself grounded and centered as much as possible throughout the day, because the life will rock you up and down, moment to moment. Like the weather, your mood and your feelings will change throughout the day. We find that disturbing, if that's the right word for it. Most of us men are like, right? We're kind of all the same. Things are good, things are bad, but it's a little fluctuation. For you ladies, like, throughout the day, up and down, like the weather in Montreal, like it just changed minute to minute or hour to hour. So we don't really understand that, and we think you're a little too self-indulgent in your feelings, not understanding that you live through your feelings. Man, listen to me, man. She lives through her feelings. Everything that she hears, everything that she sees, smell, taste, touch, moment to moment, makes her feel good or bad. And if it's you, then you're gonna find out. But it's often not us, but we why do you let that bother you? This is what men say, right? It cracks me up. I say, don't ever say this to a woman. Why does that bother you? Why you just let it go? It's kind of, it's not worth the energy, right? You can't say that to a woman because you're basically like denying her own feelings, how she's feeling in the moment. And it's like us being disrespected. It's infuriating, right? Because instead of like meeting her in her feelings and trying to understand and trying to make it feel better, you do what we do to each other as men, right? Forget about it, dude. Move on. Put it away. Get to work, right? So this is the way we function and instinctively, and we get it men on men, but we do this to ladies. Like, why you let that bother you? Like, well, my wife, her mother, every time she, had a good Sunday afternoon, everything's fine. We're having a casual morning. Mother call, I lose my wife. And I would say stuff like this, like, why did you get so angry? You know she's going to do it. You know it's coming. Why did that bother you? Why can't you just let it go? And then I'm become the enemy. That's what's not working. So, man, her feelings of
And
all
you
that she is, right, in the moment. So don't try to negate her feelings. Just embrace them and go, I'm so sorry. That made you feel bad. And then you become a hero.
beautiful. My other question is
Just,
what, so women, did you hear that? It's not, love and grace and your feminine energy in some stepper wife,
mm,
not that kind of thing at all. Not
at
any
all.
grading, nothing. We're talking soft, feminine, relax. Like don't scream and yell at him. Like you wouldn't scream and yell at me if I was your best friend and I just walked in and you were pissed off at somebody at work. You wouldn't yell at me.
Right,
Why are you yelling at him? It's not
right.
his if you have stuff. And I think one of the things you were talking about earlier teaching people how to speak.
Yeah.
I feel this way. When you say this, I feel this way. Not you're a son of a gun.
Right.
But I do want to hear what women find. So women, again, it's not Botox, it's not the plumped up,
Nope.
not the knocked up boobs, it's not the body, it's not whether you've been working out or not. Those are extra
Yep.
beautiful. Do those for yourself, that's even better. But that's not what attracts men to women. It's the warmth. Really, it really is the heart chakra, not
It's yeah,
food.
it's your energy. It's straight up your energy. The energy is pulling me towards you and make me aware of you and want to be protecting of that energy and literally make sure you're comfortable and or I'm getting away from you.
Right. So let's
It's yeah.
is the number one thing that women are attracted to in a man. Go for it. Men, listen.
Ah. Women, the number one thing women are attracted in men is competence. A man who has his stuff together, his life together, his things together. Do you know what I mean? Competence means he's capable. If he's capable, he can provide, protect, cherish, give support, lead, right? Pay, right? Pay. Like pay is part of it. It's very traditional. But a man who's got his life together, right? Who's competent, capable, is kind of sexy to a woman. Like it doesn't matter how old he is, as much as the fact that he's got his life together, and that is sexy because he can provide for her and the kids. And typically a natural male will push himself through his fears, through his weaknesses, to build his character, which builds his confidence, to build a life, to make some money. And when they're successful, they go, "Ha, okay, so now I can take care of a wife and kids and build a kingdom, put my arms around the whole thing and go, this is mine. Look what I built."
Yeah.
It's instinctual and it's beautiful, but like some of my proudest moment in my life, right? I live in Los Angeles. I had a car shop for years and years, so I worked 12-hour shifts, if not more. So often I'd leave the house at 7 a.m., I'd be home at 7 p.m. So in the summer, when it's light till 9:30, I remember pulling up in my garage at 7 p.m., right? And my car is a big, loud, crazy machine, but when I turn off the engine, I could hear, I'm like, oh, oh, and I could hear my wife playing with the kids in the pool. And it gave me such a like I did that. Obviously we did it together and our relationship has a natural yin yang to it. But I do the big crappy out in the world, work to provide and protect and you know cherish all of that. But the pride that I have in working so hard so their lives can be comfortable, that she could be home part-time because she'd have to work full-time, that she could pick up the kids at school, give them a snack, do their homework, and then jump in the pool until I come home. I did that. Right? It's very, very satisfying. And some men who don't experience really getting their lives together so they get to that point miss out on a lot. Not only of not they miss out on what they could produce, but they miss out on the satisfaction of life. Just saying.
I agree. And not that your confidence and self-love and self-worth needs to be attached exactly to the dollar. It's not, I don't think for most women, I'm going to speak for myself for sure, but I
Yep.
also, because I coach more women than I do men, but still, is we're not looking for billionaires. Okay. In most cases, we're not. I know that there are some out there. Okay. Just relax. Do not put us all into the same group. Not all interested in just your bank account. But it was funny because I was saying to this one guy, he's a great person and stuff, but he wasn't working and he's all like, "Oh, I'm so depressed and I don't have a job." And I said, "You need to get out there and start looking for one. Like that's just the way it is." And he goes,
Straight up.
"Depressed." And I said, "But you need to get over that. And you're not going to be depressed as soon as you find the job." And he goes, "Well, who's going to
Mhm.
hire?" I go, "You're 45 years old." Like, are you kidding me? Like, I still get job offers today and I'm 60. Like, relax. And
Fact.
it's not about you being wealthy. It's about you being ambitious,
Yep.
and a desire to have something. I mean, as much as I love the hippie life, or I did when I was 20 years old, I it now, I'm just not going to do it. Like I'm
Right. Right.
a mortgage. I mean, if I don't want to have a mortgage, I guess I could live in a tent. It would be okay. I don't, buy a smaller place or whatever. But I love ambition. Ambition turns me on. Like,
Ambition, yeah, being capable, yeah, being capable, resilient as a male, right? To be competent, literally in life, in every aspect that competence needs to show up. Very sexy. And by the way, it's interesting because for a man, it's a woman who's feminine and who's gets him. It's a huge one, ladies. If you don't get him, he's going to have to defend himself the rest of his life. And a lot of my clients don't get that, but he's so stupid. Like, his hobbies are stupid. I'm like, he's not marrying you. You don't get him. He's gonna stick. He's gonna keep you around for a while, right? So, in the end, we talk about being what attracts men to women. For women, it's resourcefulness, right? Being capable, being competent, like you just said. That's sexy in a man. For us, because again, it's instinctual, right? It's the feminine part that I don't have, that I don't own, that completes me, right? So, and the way I say it, for the kids, I call it the younger ones who don't understand, all that's been mixed up for them. That a man doesn't want to be a woman's wallet any more than a woman wants to be a man's sex toy, right? This is the things that we bring, right? Like, so the resourcefulness in man is standard and is sexy. It doesn't mean he's just a wallet. He's going to resent that, right? But that's part of being masculine and taking care of a wife and kids. That's just comes with it. Just beautifully normal. On the other side, she's more than just something to play with, right? Women resent that as well. There's a, she creates life. She's the feminine energy. She's the yin to your yang. She's the one that inspires everything. I would not be this man without my wife. Not even close. I may even live in a car because I wouldn't care. Like I don't care enough about me to make my life bigger just for me. If you notice what's happening in our culture right now, the young men are living very small to them because they don't understand that concept of if taking having what gives us meaning to life is to really be able to build something and build something with a queen and then really build, my kingdom. But when women are working as much as men and these young guys who are softer don't really see like possibility with the ladies, right? That they have no swag, they have no money, they live very small, they have a small little job, they have a small little car, they have a small apartment with three guys. They just groove at like baseline. There's no reason to work harder. There's no reason to push harder. The only reason to is to be able to attract a woman who's going to respect you for what you've created. But like we lost that in our culture where we shame men out of being masculine. But the mechanism is so naturally beautiful. The more you conquer, the more confident you are. The more confident you are, the sexier you are as a capable male. That's really simple. For the ladies, it's about your femininity. It's not about your degrees. It's not about your money and your career and your business. Masculine men don't care about that. Feminine men will. They'll be impressed and they'll be happy for you to pay for everything, whether he's spooning the dog on your couch, right? That's a boy, not a man. So when one thing I see all the time that I help my ladies with, my clients, is when you're in your masculine as a woman and you get stuck being in masculine all the time because it takes a huge amount of awareness to be able to shift back and forth. But that's the work ultimately. But if you're stuck in your masculine, you only attract feminine men, and you think that's men. And these guys don't want to work. They don't want to take care of you. They don't want to marry you. They don't want to be responsible for anything, never mind you and your kids. Or if you like, they don't want anything the natural male want and do. That's the big difference between, in your life dynamic with men. So if you stuck, this is just nature, right? There's always a polarity, a yin and yang. Masculine attracts feminine, even if it's inverted. Masculine women will attract feminine men, and you'll think that's men. We hate that because that's not men, that's those boys. And those are the dangerous, toxic, weak, the ones who hurt, cheat, lie. Not men. But again, if you're stuck in your feminine and your masculine, you only attract this and you'll believe again as your brain will go, see, they're all the same. See, you can't count them. See, they're all losers. See, they're all cheaters. No, 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 no. So basically, really pay attention to what you're thinking and what you're trying to prove. And that takes some paying attention, like some deep paying attention. If you're going to reframe the things that don't work in your life, you have to go to the source. and the belief that you have about it. I mean, you
Yeah.
know this, you know this.
I just want to say one thing to that too. So ladies, just because I have done this in the past and still, I mean, I've done it for like a minute and I caught myself, but I've dated some very colorful guys. At that. There was a time in my life where, no joke, I have dated a lot of guys that like I was a huge bad boy magnet because I just,
Boys, these are boys. These are not men.
but this was when I was significantly younger. And,
Yep.
that I used to joke around. I'm like, oh, if I walk into a party or if I walk into a place, I will pick the bad boy in that room. The baddest boy in that room, that's the one I'm going to be attracted to.
Yep.
That's the one that's attracted to me.
Yep.
I when I went to Mexico, there was hardly people in this bar. My friend brings me to this bar and she goes, don't talk to that guy because he was like staring at me and I don't know, he was very good looking, of course, and I go, oh, he's cute. She goes, no, no, I'll tell you about him later. And I'm like, what? Okay, anyway, really bad boy from like Chicago or someplace, I don't even
Yep.
know. And I go, of course, the one guy in the room that was like nasty. That was the one I was attracted to.
Yep.
But, like I used to joke around and say, you know what? If you smoke, if you drink, if you cheat, big cheaters, and if you've been to jail, that's an
Oh,
cherry on top. If you have been to jail even for like a week or a day or whatever, including
wow.
my ex-husband, and I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's the
Wow.
word. And then
Wow.
I have this really amazing guy come into my life and super amazing, super loyal, super worked like a maniac, like so
Hmm.
many hours I could hardly see him. So now that may be a bit too much, but
Right.
you know what? When he comes in, don't complain. Don't complain about him working a few extra hours if you've had guys who don't work, guys who are couch potatoes living off of unemployment or whatever. And
Boys.
good.
Boys.
Yeah, so terrible. But thank you so much, Andre. I'm sorry we have to go because
Absolutely. My pleasure.
we could talk all day about this.
I know.
So perfect. I love listening to you. I love chatting with you. You're the best. Have a great day with your wife. Go have some fun, or whatever
Absolutely. We're gonna have breakfast now.
you do today.
Yes. Happy
So,
Valentine's, everybody. Thank you so much.
nice day to you and your wife.